And we live, baby. All right, so welcome to GoBeDope podcast. This is the very first. Thank you very much, DeVaughn, for being here. I'd like to just do a quick intro of what GoBeDope is and why it is important to me and the world and everyone who's listening. GoBeDope, go be who you are. Dope, as my mom likes to say, funky fresh. Keep it fresh. Yes, and the vowels in GoBeDope, which is OEOE. I want you to optimize every opportunity and experience. So today we have DeVaughn. Um, I'm really excited to be able to do this with you. Appreciate you. For sure, for sure. Um, that said, so with GoBeDope, optimizing every opportunity, this is an opportunity for me to just be able to allow myself to be in this universe. I am here, and why not be able to share what it is that I think um, to listeners and be able to get some feedback from others. Today, I wanted to talk about family and fathers. This is pretty relatively new. Let me say relatively new because of just life. We're here living this life, and we come from families. We come from mothers and fathers. And personally, I just turned 31 this year, and I'm very blessed. But last year, I started thinking about contacting my father. So I don't know my father personally. I met him. I always say I met him one time by accident. I did. I met him one time by accident walking down the street. I was probably like 4 years old, and I really do remember very vividly the experience walking down the street and hearing my my mother's name being called from across the street, and we stopped. And he came over across the street and speaking to my mother. And I remember him kneeling down and asking, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "I'm your dad." And I remember looking up at my mother, and her reassuring, like shaking her head, like yes. And that's the memory that I have of my father. Unfortunately, I've never seen him again or spoke to him or anything else. But last year, it's been over the last couple of years, just being able to reconnect as far as what it means to be a part of the family. I have a great family. Shout out to all of my branches, roots and leaves, all of it. Um, but last year, I started thinking more about being able to connect with my father. And so I put it in the universe saying I was going to like reach out. And when I said it to myself, I decided to tell my mom that one day I figured I would go and search for him. Well, unbeknownst to me, the universe listened. And right before my birthday for this year, my mom, she told me that my uncle found me on the internet. And I was like, yeah, you could Google me. Of course. I got a lot of uncles. Why wouldn't they find me on the internet? But she said it like once in a conversation and the second time in the conversation. So I said, Mom, what uncle are you talking about? Because, she kept bringing it up. And she said that it was my biological father, his brothers had found me on the internet. And I think it was the week of my birthday, I went on Facebook and I saw that I had a message um, in my inbox. And it was, I don't go on Facebook. And the internet is big. Facebook is the internet within itself and all that. But I looked at the message and sure enough, like he used my middle name, y'all. And I was like, what? He used the whole name, the government name. So that said, it really has been a very interesting time over the last couple of months because although I have talked to my uncle, it has not been a regular dialogue, but just being able to know that there is somebody connected to my father. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is his message on Facebook actually was his message was he was trying to get in contact with his brother, who he hasn't seen, my father, who he hasn't seen in probably nearly like 30 years. Wow. So my response was, your guess is as good as mine, but I am blessed that he was able to connect. That said, that's the family father portion of it. Now I'm very blessed to have a stepfather. I call him my dad. I've known him since I was 3. And we've of course grown. That's my dad, his family. My last name is Lee, but I always say I was born in Ivy, raised in the Norwood, because that's just how I was. I was born in Ivy. My mom, the Ivy side, and then my dad, he's in Norwood. So I'm not gonna lie, it's been a mind blowing experience because I have a whole nother side of me that I do not know, but it is a part of me and it's something that I want to explore. So that said, I put that into this podcast in order to allow myself to open it up on what it means to to know where you're from. Um, yeah, essentially like to know where you're from and to know that you are more than what you are raised with. And even if you are in a two-parent home, there are things that you don't know about your family tree, lineage, and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of background on the roots of Vanessa. But I also wanted to open it up and just ask, as far as you, DeVaughn, like your experience being, you're a man, you have a dad, you got a kid.
Thanks, Jack. I mean, you want me to like talk about my parents? Because I mean, they were cool. They weren't together.
Well, let's talk about the experience of, I guess, your relationship with your father.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't really have one. I had one when I was younger.
So what is younger? What age is that?
For like 2000. So I guess I was like 8.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like you grew up with him, or in your life, or
Yeah, I grew up with him in my life. Okay. So he wasn't in my life until I was around 9, maybe.
Okay.
And he had cheated, so that shit was off.
Yeah.
And he went off to go wherever he went, and we would get like $100 a month or something like that.
Okay.
And that was that. But I ain't like the dude, man. I ain't like the dude. I still don't like the guy, but you love who you love.
Yeah.
And you can't really choose past that.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, my whole life I was for a long time. I mean, up until like around now, when I'm going through like kind of like the same kind of cycle,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like I can understand where things go in a different way. But like when I was young, like
What do you mean they go in a different way?
well, I mean, when I was young, I didn't see it. I didn't see the cycle, but
Okay.
now that I'm going through it, I can understand like a lot of things go into like what happens in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a fact of like not loving you or anything like that. It's just each person is going through their life and they're trying to make it so they're the happiest
Mm-hmm.
and where they're not like feeling like they're gonna off themselves.
Okay.
So people go separate ways in order to survive, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see that, but now I see it.
And why do you see it now?
Because like I'm going through the same thing, you feel
Talk
me?
about it.
All right, so like me and my baby mom's like we're not together, and it's for the better.
Yeah.
Because we're better people with like apart.
Yeah.
And that just takes time. Time makes people see things and you grow and that's that. And you can either decide to grow or decide not to.
Yeah.
And that's that. But like seeing how everyone's like a mirror, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. Like
A mirror, like of
of each other,
Okay.
like what energy you're putting out, you're receiving. So if I'm feeling like I'm having a combative person, I'm being combative in my mind in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's just you have to realize that a lot of things go into each person's approach into a situation.
Yeah. I can dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can dig that. Part of this experience of connecting with my biological father, that actually I'm gonna put my brother. He's my stepbrother. We're not like blood related, but my brother, he's been, I guess, probably like a year and a half ago. That's when I decided to reach out to him. For a couple of different reasons. I can name them real quick. I have my sister. She passed away in 2010. And so I have a brother, stepbrothers, two stepbrothers. One I'm closer to than the other.
Right.
But one of my brothers, he's locked up. The one that I'm closest to is locked up. And just one day I was just thinking about my nieces and my nephews and stuff like that. And I was thinking about just family and the fact that we share our commonality is our dad. And I was like, if something were to happen to my dad, I wouldn't want my brother to feel like he was like he didn't have another connection. Yes, we have
Yeah.
other family and stuff. So I took it upon myself to go and actually visit him. And I like when I got to the prison and they told him like his sister was there. He didn't even know what to do because I hadn't seen him
Yeah.
since I was like 10, 11, 12, something like that. But I mentioned him because part of I always say my brother ain't got nothing but time, and so it allows me when I do get to talk to him. He has a lot of time to think and stuff, but he has a daughter, and how she came into this world is her own story. But I also knew that if I didn't reach out to him, I would not probably have a relationship with her, and then that would be another separation of family because he doesn't have a relationship with her. She doesn't really know him. I don't know how many times they've seen each other in life or had any correspondence. But talking to my brother and listening to him and how even him and my dad, like they didn't have a relationship. I believe he told me he was like in high school, eighth grade high school or something, and it was one of my uncles who saw him working at like saw him as well. My uncle is an educator, and I believe he saw him at school or something, and was like, yeah. So that's how they like reconnected, and then even through that, it wasn't so much as oh they just became like they got to be in each other's lives, but over time like eventually it was more like I knew my dad. Like he was growing up, he was a teenager, an adult or whatever, and he knew his dad. So that prompted me just talking to my brother. I'm like, it's a cycle, one in which if we were like dig down to, it's not even. You can blame it on slavery. You can blame it on oppression. You can blame it on as many things as you want to. But the honest truth is, it is a choice that you make. I don't care. You could be a drug addict, all of that. If you make a choice not to communicate with family, if you make a choice, if you know, especially if you there are people who don't know they have children in the world, but especially if you know you have um, offspring. Um, Even if you don't know how to communicate, whether it's issues with the mama, issues with it, whatever the case may be, to know that you have another person, another spirit on earth that you help create. What I didn't want to do is to alienate my brother who's already in prison. Like he already didn't have that foundation as far as like family, the traditional air quotes for those the traditional family life. And then me being younger, my brother is 25, 20 something years older than me. But to even know that, and then even with my own biological father not knowing him, and then my stepfather, although I've known him since I was 3 years old, our relationship is non-traditional, not because he's my stepfather, but because just of how we have to relate to one another. And it all trickled down, and I was like, we already got cycles, like just craziness as far as my nieces, my nephews, me, and quite honestly, the only people that I know, not the only, let me not say the only people that I know, but as far as family goes, on my mom's side, she grew up with her mother and her father. They had 16 kids, so they knew who their mother and their father was. They knew who their grandmother and grandfather was.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of personalities in one house. So with them knowing that, not all of them have the traditional family style or anything like that, but just to know how my mom came to be and her family came to be, then to know me and my sister, like me and my sister got different dads. And just again, just the life happens. But yeah, it just goes down, and I was like, this is crazy. If me personally, I don't have any children or anything like that. But me personally, I was like, I would not want that for even if I would not want that for my offspring, because as I got older, it's more of like, where do I belong? Like I know who my family is. Again, born to Ivy raised in Norwood. I will always make sure that is clear. But I never even identify what Lee. That was just my name. What is a name? Like being in California, everybody renames themselves, and it's like I am Sunshine Sunblossom or whatever. But it was a name. But what I did know even because I was married, what I didn't want to do was take off that name of Lee because I don't know where he is. But if he ever tries to find me, I want him to know that she right here,
Right.
you know. And that's honestly how my uncles and them found me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I wouldn't be, yeah, they wouldn't be able to find me. But again, like just knowing like your, as far as family tree and dynamics and stuff, life happens. I know relationships, they go up, they go down, people separate, people get together, all of that other stuff. But just knowing that if to create a spirit on this earth, we are all walking being spirits, blessings to all of that. But to know that you are putting whatever it is that you are putting out in the universe. I'm very personally, I always say I'm very blessed that my dad probably, I don't know his circumstances, his situation, his mindset, or anything else, but perhaps him leaving and not coming back was beneficial for me because I don't know what kind of person he was, you know. Um, and it's an experience to know that if one, it takes one person to recognize that shit ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right. And it's not to say that I can correct everything or correct anything. It's just if I acknowledge it and recognize it, what I don't want to do is, whether it's my nieces, my nephews, cousins, friends, or anything else, all I can do is just continue to, like, if it didn't work then, it's probably not going to work now. But we have to be better. We have to continue to get better and figure out a way to have relationships. Yeah. I put on my vision board this year relationship. It is not a matter of, it's actually at the top, right under the 2020 relationship, and just knowing that you gotta build it and figure stuff out. You can break relationships, you can make relationships, you can build them, you can strengthen them, you can sever them, all of that. But it takes the effort of one person to even get the ball rolling. I hadn't seen my brother in 15 years, something like that. I don't know. I was probably like 12. I'm gonna say about sixth grade, whatever age that is, 12 or something. Yeah. But I hadn't seen him, wrote him, nothing, you know. And it just took me saying like, nah, if something was to happen to my dad, what I don't want is for him to feel like he's all, you know, like just okay, well that's it. I don't know it. Yeah, that's his family. And then I'm thinking about his daughter, you know, my niece. I don't want that for him. I don't want that for her. I don't want that for myself. And that actually prompted me to start thinking about my own father because I'm thinking about my brother. And again, although we're not blood related, I'm thinking about my brother and his legacy and what it is he locked up. Mm-hmm. So whatever happens now, it has to happen because he ain't got nothing but time. And right now I ain't got nothing but time. So I gotta make it worth it.
It's cool how like that the awareness, like you're wanting for awareness to your brother, just brought you like a whole whole other map to your family.
Yeah, it's important. Just making those connections. Yeah, connections. Let's see. Thank you for sharing a little bit. Thank you for listening, folks. And actually, while I say that, I do want to, I'm gonna play. I don't know if it's still up, but I'm gonna share it because why not? I wrote a little something, and I don't even know. It's off now. All right, so I'm gonna play